Do you do anything to avoid conflict, even if it means to sacrifice something by yourself? I feel it because I was at the exact same point like you are. I used to be a depressed people pleaser. I had zero confidence, no real friends, and no girls into me. Today, I'm the guy who is confident, who is charismatic, who has awesome friends and enjoys beautiful relationships. And let me tell you this, it all started with stopping to avoid conflict and actually embrace conflict when it's necessary. And in this video, I'm gonna tell you why conflict is so important in the end and why you should never ever avoid a conflict. So I am in a car with a very good friend of mine. We're just driving and talking. It is a dark road, we're somewhere in the forest, and we're just chilling. Music is playing, we're just talking. And there is a small break in between our conversation. And I remember that I had a problem with him. I had something that pissed me off about him. Because he used to not respond to my messages I sent him. Like I would send him a message and he would respond like hours, days later. And it was pissing me off. I was asking myself why is he doing this? Like is he like hating on me? Does he not want to meet up with me? Like why can't he just say it to me? For a moment I was like thinking about saying this to him in the car, but I had this resistance inside of me. I was like, I don't want to speak about it because I don't want to make him feel uncomfortable. I don't want to like upset him. I don't want to hurt him by calling this out. Maybe there is something, whatever. But I thought to myself, no, you know what? Like this pisses me off for quite a while now, and I want to know what's the reason behind it. And then I said to him like, bro, there is something I wanted to ask you, something that messes up with my head a little bit. Why is it that you are not responding to me when I write you a message? I was afraid of his reaction. I was afraid of what would come afterwards because I was afraid that he would be like pissed off at me and we would not talk afterwards. But you know what happened? He responded with empathy. He was like, yeah, bro, I know. I'm sorry for that. And he started to explain why this is. And for the next, like, I don't know, 20 minutes, we talked about this topic and he told me like he's trying to improve on this and that he's really sorry about this and that it's not his intention to like piss me off or to hurt me with that. And honestly, like we had such a good talk about this and with so much like understanding and empathy. I could really feel that in that moment, a new layer of trust evolved around our friendship. And let me tell you something, since that moment, and I swear, since that moment, our honest, deep talks and calling out each other started to, the number of this started to increase. Like we had more deep talks and more like this honest talks about our personal stuff than we had before. So basically, me embracing the conflict and embracing the uncomfortable and the potential like risk of hurting him or something actually brought a new layer to a friendship, a deeper layer to a friendship, which allowed us to have more deep talks and be more honest to each other and trust each other more. And this is beautiful because this is something I did not realize about conflicts back then. I was like avoiding conflicts every time. I was avoiding to call out people about something that pissed me off because I was afraid. Of course you are afraid because you don't know how will the person react, what will be the result of this all. But honestly, with time, I saw that embracing and risking the conflict and this uncomfortable talk is so necessary to build lasting trust with a person. In relationships, the uncomfortable is the necessity to deepen them, to build more trust, to deepen those relationships and make it like more alive basically, and more sacred in the end. I know that you don't want to make people feel uncomfortable. I do neither. Like I still have this resistance inside of me when it comes to conflict, when it comes to calling people out. But I know inside myself, like, okay, look, you have this resistance, you have this fear inside yourself, but you know that by talking about this, by embracing this uncomfort, you will gain a lot more. You will deepen the relationship, you will solve a conflict, you will feel better. This is for a higher good, basically. You embrace this uncomfort for 10, 20, 30 minutes, 1 hour maybe. You are uncomfortable, you talk, you say what's on your mind, you say what's on your heart. The other person does the same, listens, whatever. And after that, you have a massive improvement in your relationship. This is awesome. And honestly, like, you don't want to make people feel uncomfortable. You want to avoid conflict. But there is something inside of you that wants to go out. There is some negativity or resentment about some of your friends, family members, something they do, something they did. You want to say to them, but you're too afraid of it. That's why you avoid this conflict. And I want to ask you this, like, how long are you willing to wrestle with your internal conflict in order to avoid external conflict? And how long are you willing to hold this? How long are you willing to wrestle with this? Because you can stop wrestling with it if you just embrace the external conflict. And let me tell you this, like, the external conflict, it can be uncomfortable, but it's oftentimes much less uncomfortable than you're imagining it. And afterwards, when you embrace the external conflict, your internal conflict suddenly disappears and you feel so relieved. You suddenly feel so good, and you think to yourself, wow, good that I said it. Good that I embraced it. Good that I went through this uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable, but now I can breathe. I can breathe. It's just something necessary sometimes. I don't say that you should seek out conflict all the time. I don't say that you should go onto the street and like swear on someone and start a conflict with them. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking to embrace conflict in friendships and relationships, with friends, with family members, with teachers, with siblings, you know? It is a chance. It is a chance to truly see the other person. Because maybe there is something you don't know. Maybe the reason for the behavior of the other person is something emotional. Maybe they are suffering and that's why they're doing this. But you cannot know because you never talked with the person about it. So in conflict there is a chance to learn something from each other, to explore the other person, basically to explore the other person's internal world. And with that, by exploring the worlds of each other, by learning from each other, you build massive trust. You build massive trust because you show that you're comfortable in the uncomfortable. You're comfortable in the conflict. You're willing to take this uncomfort. You're willing to risk some of your comfort in order to achieve the higher good for the relationship, which is trust. And trust is sacred. Having someone you can fully trust is sacred. And this is fucking beautiful. When you have people you can fully trust, when you have people who fully trust you, it's awesome, man. It's awesome. Call people out on something small. It doesn't have to be instantly a big thing. But for example, let's say you have a sibling and the sibling never like washes his dishes. He always leaves his plates somewhere in the kitchen or in your room or whatever, and it genuinely pisses you off. Just say like, hey bro, you know, it pisses me a little bit off that you're always leaving the plates in my room, whatever. I would be very happy and grateful if you if you would stop doing this in the future. And your brother will be like, oh, okay. You dap him up, you give him a hug, whatever. Fine. Start with small things. It all begins with small things. And then you can go slowly to bigger things that piss you off. But just keep in mind that conflicts are necessary sometimes. And often enough, conflicts lead to something better and something greater, to trust.